Hello viewers, so let me hop in and say something about the partnership between President William Ruto and Raila Odinga. Now, sometimes last year, July of 2024, I had made a short clip explaining the danger of a coalition partnership between the opposition and the president. In fact, that clip was just in response to one of the comments that had been made by one of the viewers.
Going back to the legislature and basically the National Assembly where money bills are tabled. The reasons to why I thought you clearly don't understand the issue of opposition. The issue of opposition has nothing to do with who is the leader of the opposition, but basically any business in the House, that is the National Assembly, and especially in matters of money bills, are very critical because, for instance, look at now the bilateral agreement. Although Baba, that is Raila Odinga, has been in denial that he is in any bilateral agreement with the government. But basically, the appointment of the 4 CSS positions from his party should go to tell you that come the Finance Bill 2025-2026, if you look at the list in the website of the Parliament of Kenya, ODM alone, leave alone Azimio One Kenya Alliance, ODM alone as a party has 85 MPs. So come this finance bill, the next financial year, that should be in operation from 1st of July of 2025, it will be very easy for the government to approve this bill, because if from the Finance Bill 2024-2025, at least 195 MPs voted yes to approve this bill. So you can imagine with an addition of 85 more MPs.
Now, I would firstly want us to understand that clearly there is a thin line between when it comes to state integration, political partnerships, and now, in this case, a handshake between a sitting president and the opposition. While although some might argue that such a partnership is geared towards integration of the country, but then again, we must also look at the underpinnings of such partnerships. So in this case, initially, Raila Odinga in fact had denied that there is no sort of partnership between the opposition and the government. And the president also, in the run of the 2022 general elections, he had also made it clear that there was not going to be any sort of an arrangement where the opposition joins the government.
The handshake took away the oversight role of the opposition. In Kenya today, we do not have an opposition. There is a mongrel of an organization. Nobody knows what the hell it is. People don't know whether we have the opposition in government or the government in the opposition. It's quite a maybe scientists, maybe policymakers in this great institution in Carnegie could do research on what is going on in Kenya.
Several months after the elections, I called my brother and I told him, you have been my party leader. You have been my senior. Today, by God's grace, I'm president. I want you to be treated well. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you have respect in Kenya. And I am not doing this so that for any other reason that is selfish to me. I am doing this because I'm a younger person.
So if you were to ask me, I would say that this is a classical case of the political elites in Kenya to preserve their political identity and continuation, because clearly the current political class mostly are the former KANU members and to an extent the KANU apologists, and so such a move is endeared towards the conservation or the maintenance of the status quo, as opposed to revisionism as it was witnessed sometimes in June of 2024. So, and in this case, what we saw, especially after the 624 events, is that the opposition clearly is part of this government, because 4 of the CSS of this administration, they were members of the ADM party, which is an opposition party. Now, although they are masquerading behind trying to implement the NADCO report, we must also look at it from the angle of the political implications, because now this clearly sidelines the political, the smaller political communities in Kenya. For instance, now what happens to communities like Dasenach, El Molo, other communities like the Endorois, the Wat, and the rest? Because although they are saying it is an aspect of state integration, we must also look at it from the angle of the public service in this country, because largely the civil servants in this country is just a composition of around 5 communities, which accounts to almost 80%. Now, Raila Odinga joining William Ruto, then clearly one of the most immediate implications is that there is no sort of accountability. While some might say it's the political right of Odinga to form a coalition with anyone, but now pragmatically, Raila joining William Ruto, he joins in the angle of him, not just him as an individual, but with the political influence he carries in this country. He carries along, in fact, a majority of his supporters, such that we are not going to have oversight and accountability in this regime, especially in the National Assembly, where bills are formulated, are tabled and formulated. And then the other aspect of it is the political marginalization of some of the communities that I have mentioned earlier on. And then the other aspect of it is that in an arrangement where we'll have a strong opposition, vis-a-vis now this arrangement where we have opposition joining the government, is that we cannot have a shadow cabinet where the opposition forms a cabinet of its own with distinct ministries, where the oversight now, the ministries of the government, say the Ministry of Transport, where there was an under-carpet agreement with the Adani Group to run the Kenyan airports. Now with the shadow cabinet, they will have raised that concern, made it public, and it will be an aspect that will have been discussed widely. We would not have the people getting into the streets like it happened during the 624 events, where the government now was subdued to drop that finance bill 2024. So I think those are my submissions, although we are going to look at it from the angle of the other implications of such a partnership in maybe the intermediary and maybe the long term. Thank you.